Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson, and I'm happy to say I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, it's been a season. The best thing I could say is that Tech has, at least up to this point of taping this, they've gotten through and they've played every game on the schedule, which sounded highly unlikely and improbable when we started the season. But here we are. Now, they're 3-6 overall, 2-7 in Big 12, Joe. But they have Kansas, a game that it's a must-win game. Let's just face it, right? It's a must-win game. Kansas in the regular season finale, the home finale, all that. Before we dive into what we're looking for, just give me a quick synopsis of the season for you.
Well, I mean, look, as we've discussed in our podcast,
yeah,
a lot of this season, the lion's share of attention is focused on the in-game coaching decisions and management by Matt Wells. And so, look, I think if you were to take out some of these highly questionable decisions, Tech's record, I believe, would be considerably better than it is right now.
How many games do you think it cost them? Because I was looking back, and it's about what I called, but you look at the opportunities against Texas, which, I mean, there's a lot of blunders there too. But TCU, I don't know, they were down by 2 scores when that second down field goal occurred. But I'm curious, how many games do you think it really meant? Yeah,
just to be on the conservative side, I would say 2.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
And I think you could make an argument for 3. But yeah, 2-3 games. So you flip those 2 or 3 games,
completely different
suddenly,
season.
man, things are looking pretty good. But the good way of looking at that is that this team has been competitive.
Yes,
very competitive with I guess everybody except for Oklahoma. Is there anybody else that has really blown them out?
No. I mean, Texas, they've been double-digit dogs in several games, and it's been, obviously Texas, they should have won. Oklahoma State, I mean, they were right there before blowing it, and they still only lost by 1 score.
Mm-hmm.
You go back, like, for example, I was looking because some people were talking about, you should have won this many games in 2018. I was like, how really close were they in 2018? Because I had a discussion, I'll just say, with a position coach, a prominent position coach on that team after Kingsbury had been fired, and he goes, Jarret, we were so close. And I may have told you this before, and I was like, were you? I remember thinking, I didn't want to be disrespectful or rude. This wasn't like, on record or on the air or anything like that, but I still, I don't want to like laugh in someone's face, but I could not disagree more with the man, and I went back and looked, and they lost by basically 9 points a game. Mm-hmm. Their losses,
Sure.
So, or at least during their 5 point. Actually, they lost by 10 points a game overall, but they lost the last 5 games in 2018 straight, and they lost them by like 9 points, 9.5 points a game. That's not close.
2 scores, yeah.
That's not close to me. No. This year, it's been close. Last year, when you lost 4 games by a field goal or less, that was close. Mm-hmm. But I'm with you, like. My synopsis is I was worried about some things: quarterback, tackle, safety, and then in-game coaching decisions, and that's pretty much been the problem, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And some of these positions have actually improved. I mean, strangely enough, the quarterback situation, you had the problem with Bowman. He obviously got benched. Columbia came in, played pretty well, but not great. Yeah. Okay, but then you go to this sort of 2 quarterback deal. Yeah. And, I mean, Bowman has actually picked it up.
He was good against, other than the pick 6.
Yeah, except for the pick 6 and the safety, which may or may not have been his fault. But since he came back from that injury, or from being benched, he's played pretty good football.
Yeah. Is the best since in the Wells era.
Sure.
The best of the Wells era. I think that's pretty easy to say. We could argue that, right? I mean.
Right. So, and, the safety position, started off terrible. I mean, you had that terrible Eric Monroe play against Oklahoma.
Kansas State
with minimal effort.
Yeah.
But I think the entire secondary has also improved over time, and the safeties are not world beaters, are not great, but I think they're at least serviceable right now. Tackle, ultimately you had to go with Caleb Rogers there at left tackle, and he played reasonably well. I mean, I don't think that there are any just awful liabilities anywhere on the defense where you just say, man, this is an incredible weak link. These guys don't deserve to be playing in the Big 12.
Yeah.
You know, I think you got serviceable guys there. They're just not great, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
I feel like if quarterback play was just upgraded just even a little bit,
Yeah.
and then these coaching decisions. So let's dive into that. You do have Kansas. Texas a heavy favorite as expected. Kansas, this is a bad team for Kansas' standards. I mean, they're winless. They've just been really awful this year. So what are you looking for in this game, in this season finale? This weird senior night that's not really senior night. You know, like
right.
It's bizarro world.
It is. It is just stranger every day.
It is. So what are you looking for?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's one of those deals where it's kind of like Tech basketball playing against Northwestern State. I mean, it's actually that level of competition. That's how bad they are this year. And I think they're worse on defense than they are on offense, although they're pretty bad all the way around.
They have some good skill position
They have
players.
good skill position players. Kansas has terrible problems at quarterback.
They
it seems
do.
like. And that's the case this year as well.
Yeah, offensive line and quarterback.
So, you know, basically, I still think that offense, just because of the skill position guys, they at least present some semblance maybe of a challenge. Just, you know, if you don't play sound, you know, if you have busts in coverage, they could burn you a little bit. So, I'm looking at the defensive side of the ball. You know, Texas Tech should be able to smother these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Roger could have 200 if they. They should be able to. You know,
I think the Tech should score on just about every possession. You know, you may have a turnover, may have one, you know, bad possession where you
throw
just
like
don't
2 or 3
score.
screens or something.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But Yost did call a good game. He was getting a lot of flack, but I mean, he scored 44 points over 600 yards last week against Oklahoma State there.
Defense,
So you know.
Yeah.
Hard to complain about that. You know?
Yeah, so listen, anybody should be able to call the game against Kansas.
We can do it, right?
Yeah, we should. You know, why not? Have a special guest offensive coordinator for Kansas. You know,
that would be entertaining.
That would,
especially if it was like aired live with it. You know, they had like a little picture in the corner of us. If we both were like taking turns or something, or you take a drive, I take a drive. You know,
right. Oh man, that would happen. You know, if there's anybody out there who can pull some strings, you know. I mean,
it's 2020. This is the year to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to happen.
Exactly.
So, anyways,
but so I mean, but ultimately, I just want to see the defense just come out and roll these guys. You know, they actually played a pretty good defensive game against Oklahoma State because you know they got pushed around in the running game.
They did,
granted, but they got 4 straight stops with the last stop of the first half and the first 3 of the second, something like that, and it looked like they were getting a handle on things. And then of course you had the infamous onside kick, and then things kind of switched around on them at that point. But
momentum changed.
Yes, it did. So, but listen, you're playing defense against guys like Spencer Sanders, you know, and Tylan Wallace.
Yeah.
Kansas does not present any kind of a threat quite like that. So, I think you should be able to really just clamp down on them and, you know, rub them into the dirt, basically.
Well, for me, Joe, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but is it really dead? I don't know, because it keeps happening every week. You know, like I said in the post-game wrap, I said on the board at halftime, I wonder what wacky play or decision we're going to be all talking about after the game. And that, I have to be honest, I mean, I'm hoping that Tech, because what Tech hasn't done is blown anyone out this year. Right. You know what I mean? They've won some good games.
Even Houston Baptist.
Houston Baptist went down to the wire. So you'd like to see Tech just win a comfortable game, right? Where even if Coach Wells calls something like a sky kick or a field goal on second down or a crazy onside kick when you have all the momentum,
a fake punt from your own 2-yard line,
right? Or you get another punt blocked or something, which always seems to be in the kicking game, which is weird. But
true.
Hopefully you can overcome it. It's not some insurmountable decision like we've seen for a lot of the season. So that's what I'm looking for, is just what's going to happen with what crazy decision are we going to see, and will it even matter? Can Tech blow out a really just inferior Kansas squad? Just calling it like it is. So, Mighty Joe, it was great to have you on the show again. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all for watching, and until next time.